Welcome back to U.S. Mint Mysteries. Have you ever held a Susan B. Anthony dollar in your hand and thought it was just pocket change? What if I told you that buried among these small silver-colored coins are a few ultra-rare treasures that could be worth more than a house, more than a luxury car, even more than some people's retirement savings? That's right. Tonight, we're uncovering 3 jaw-dropping Susan B. Anthony dollars that could turn an ordinary collection into a life-changing fortune. Stick with me until the very end, because each coin we reveal climbs higher and higher in value, and the last one might just blow your mind. Our first stop takes us back to 1979. The very first year the Susan B. Anthony dollar was struck. Now, at first glance, this coin might not look like much. It's small, it's silver-colored, and in your case, it's picked up a warm brown shade over time, showing the kind of natural toning and wear that only decades of circulation can create. To most people, this would seem like just another worn-out dollar coin. But here's where it gets interesting. When the Mint launched the Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979, it was meant to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar. Collectors were excited at first, but the public didn't take to it. Why? Because the coin was so close in size to a quarter, people kept mixing the two up in their pockets. As a result, many of these dollars sat unused, gathering dust in vaults, while the few that made it into circulation started to pick up that same brown, almost coppery shade we see today. But here's the part that will make you lean in. Within the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars, there's a striking error that collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for. It's called the wide rim or near-date variety. On most 1979 dollars, the rim is narrow with the date sitting far away from the edge. But on this rare version, the rim is thicker, and the numbers of the date appear much closer to the edge of the coin. It may sound like a small difference, but it makes all the difference in the world to serious collectors. Now let's talk value. If your 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is just an ordinary narrow rim in fine condition with some toning, it might only bring in $1 or $2, basically face value. But if you happen to spot that wide rim variety, things escalate fast. A circulated example, even with brown toning and wear, can jump up to hundreds of dollars. And in uncirculated condition, with crisp details and original mint luster, this same coin can skyrocket to thousands. But the real shocker comes when you look at the finest known examples. A pristine, mint-state 1979 wide-rim dollar has stunned collectors by selling for over $10,000 at auction. And in certain rare cases, special strike patterns and error pieces from 1979 have been valued well into the 6-figure range. Over $450,000 for the most unique survivors. That's the kind of number that makes people stop and say, wait a minute, a Susan B. Anthony dollar worth nearly $500,000? Yes, it's true. So how do you know if you've got a winner in your collection? First, check the rim. If the date is pressed close to the edge, you could be holding that wide rim variety. Second, examine the overall condition. Even a brown-toned example like yours can carry hidden value if the details are sharp enough. And finally, remember this. Rarity isn't always about what shines the brightest. Sometimes it's the humble, overlooked coins, the ones tossed aside as pocket change, that end up being the most valuable of all. And that's just the first coin on our list. Believe it or not, the next Susan B. Anthony dollar we're about to reveal carries even more mystery, and its value climbs even higher. So don't go anywhere because this story is only getting started.
Next up, we jump 20 years ahead to 1999, the very last year the Susan B. Anthony dollar was minted. Now, here's where the story takes a surprising twist. By 1981, production of the Anthony dollar had stopped because Americans just didn't want to use it. It sat in storage, largely forgotten, and most people assumed the coin was gone for good. But in 1999, something remarkable happened. The United States Mint brought the Susan B. Anthony dollar back for one final run, and that last issue turned into one of the most sought-after dates in the entire series. Your coin, in extra fine condition, already stands out. Extra fine means it still shows plenty of detail. You can see the bold outline of Susan B. Anthony's face, the sharp lettering around the edge, and on the reverse. The eagle landing on the moon still carries strong detail, but beyond its beauty, the story of 1999 makes it special. You see, the mint wasn't planning to strike this coin again. The only reason it happened was because the public transportation systems like subways and vending machines were running out of dollar coins. With the new Sacagawea dollar not ready until 2000, the mint had no choice but to revive the Susan B. Anthony dollar for one last year. And here's where it gets fascinating. Because this was the end of the series, collectors rushed to scoop them up. Mintages were much smaller than the earlier years, and that scarcity, combined with the final year factor, makes $1,999 extremely collectible today. But wait until you hear about the errors. Among the 1999 Anthony dollars, there are coins that show off center strikes, double dies, and even pieces struck on the wrong planchet, meaning the coin was accidentally struck on a blank, meant for another denomination. Imagine a Susan B. Anthony dollar struck on a golden Sacagawea planchet. Mistakes like this have been confirmed and are worth staggering sums. So let's talk values. A typical 1999 Anthony dollar in extra fine condition might trade hands for $10, $20, maybe $50 depending on demand. But in uncirculated, high-grade condition, prices begin to soar into the hundreds. Gem quality pieces graded Ms. 67 and above can break into the thousands. And those dramatic mint errors? That's where the numbers hit jaw-dropping levels. Some 1999 error Anthony dollars have sold for over $15,000. And the ultra-rare wrong planchet strikes, the ones that were accidentally minted on Sacagawea blanks, have shocked collectors by selling for more than $475,000. That's nearly $500,000 for a single dollar coin. Think about that for a moment. A coin most people dismissed as pocket change, struck in a year that was almost forgotten, can now pay for a dream home or a luxury yacht. That's the magic of numismatics. It's not just about metal and minting, it's about history, rarity, and those once-in-a-lifetime discoveries that leave collectors speechless. So, how do you know if your 1999 dollar could be a fortune? Start by looking closely at the surfaces. Extra fine condition already means yours is better than most pocket change, but errors are the real prize here. Tilted in the light, look for doubling on the lettering, or signs of an off-center strike. And if you ever suspect your coin was struck on the wrong planchet, get it authenticated immediately, because you might just be holding a six-figure treasure. We've already seen two remarkable Susan B. Anthony dollars, but don't think for a second that we've reached the peak. The final coin on this list takes rarity and value to a whole new level. Stick around, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss the chance to uncover treasures like these. The last coin might just leave you speechless. And now, for our final coin, we return once again to 1979. But this time, the story is very different. Earlier, we looked at a brown-shaded, well-circulated example from the first year of issue. But now imagine holding that same coin in extra fine condition, where the sharpness of Susan B. Anthony's profile is still bold. The stars around the edge are crisp, and the eagle landing on the moon on the reverse still shows rich detail. This is no ordinary pocket change. This is the kind of coin that makes collectors' hearts race. 1979 was a turning point in American coinage. It was the debut of the first small-size dollar, and the first time in U.S. history that a real woman, Susan B. Anthony, appeared on circulating coinage. At the time, people didn't think much of it. The coin was confused with quarters, it was rejected in daily use, and many ended up forgotten in drawers and jars. But now, decades later, those very same coins have become treasures. And in extra fine condition, they tell a completely different story. The most exciting part about 1979 is the sheer number of varieties and minting quirks. We talked before about the famous wide rim or near date variety, where the numbers of the date are pushed close to the edge. That variety alone is worth hundreds, even in circulated grades. But in extra fine condition, things get even more thrilling. Collectors crave coins that survived with strong detail, and they'll pay handsomely for them. Now, here's where things really heat up. Among 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars, error coins are the true crown jewels. There are examples struck off-center, double strikes, coins with missing mint marks, and even pieces that were struck on planchets meant for other denominations, like quarters or foreign coins. Imagine the shock of pulling what looks like a Susan B. Anthony dollar from a roll, only to realize it was struck on the wrong metal entirely. Errors like that are so rare that when they appear at auction, the bidding wars can climb into the stratosphere. So what kind of money are we talking about? A normal 1979 extra fine dollar might sell for $5 to $15. Nothing earth-shattering, but if it's the wide rim variety in this condition, you're looking at values pushing into the hundreds. Take it up a notch to uncirculated condition and prices rise into the thousands. Now, add in a dramatic error, say a misstrike, a double die, or a wrong planchet, and suddenly, you're staring at numbers that don't even seem real. We're talking $25,000, $75,000, and in the rarest, most dramatic cases, documented sales that exceeded $500,000. That's right, over $500,000 for a single Susan B. Anthony dollar. And here's the thought that will stay with you long after this video ends. How many times have these coins passed through your hands? How many times did you brush one off as just another dollar, never realizing the fortune it could hold? That's the thrill of collecting the knowledge that hidden among the ordinary. There are a few extraordinary survivors that can change everything. So the next time you come across a Susan B. Anthony dollar, especially in 1979 in extra fine condition, don't just glance at it and move on. Study it. Look at the rim, check the details, search for those subtle errors and varieties. Because one day, you might just be the person who turns a simple dollar into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure, and there you have it. 3 Susan B. Anthony dollars that prove you never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. From the humble beginnings of 1979 to the dramatic final year of 1999, and back again to a coin that could break all the records, this series is packed with surprises. Remember, fortune favors the curious. So keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, the next big discovery might be sitting in your pocket right now.